retirement year. How was it working with Cena? And since it is his retirement year, maybe give him his flowers about something maybe you learned from him.
Oh, I learned so much from John Cena. He was my favorite opponent, my favorite person to work with. Probably, if I'm being honest, he probably was my favorite superstar. Just because, like, everything that he was doing, he's somebody that I tried to emulate in a way, and like with my career too. Um, but he's a good dude, man, and he's really funny. But he was hard on us. But he was hard on and me in particular. Cena was really hard on me. But and he told me like it's because he really liked me and was trying to push me. I think his way of getting the best out of people is tough love, which maybe isn't always how people like to
Yeah.
learn, but like he meant well, you know what I mean? And he really cares about this business, and I really did learn a lot from him. Like he helped me perfect my lawyer character and the bow tie.
Yeah.
And then even like my posing routine, he helped me work on that on an overseas tour one time. So like, and he gave me just a lot of advice. And so
Yeah.
I honestly can't say enough positive things about John Cena. I know I give him a lot of crap. Like, hey man, I'm still gonna be honest. He was dirty for what he did to the Nexus at SummerSlam. He was. John, you were dirty for that. I'm being honest. But you're still my guy. I still think you're the GOAT. But hey, we gotta call a spade a spade.
And we are back for another casual conversation with the classic, and I am here with a very special guest, someone you people might have seen everywhere because he's obviously been in pro wrestling, but he's done some stuff in acting. He's on YouTube now with his YouTube channel. I've been seeing you do a bunch of media and press in the last couple of months. Every couple of days, it'll be like David Otunga said this, David Otunga's opinion on this, legal advice on that. I love seeing it. Obviously, like it's cool that you're also a lawyer before you were a wrestler, so you have the insight that other people might not have, and a lot of things that are happening in wrestling, which makes your YouTube channel really good. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. First of all, thank you for having me on here. Really excited to be here. This is going to be fun. But
Yeah,
yeah, no, I've been great lately. Thank you.
it's a pleasure and honor to have you on here, and I love talking to people, especially people that were in the business, because I love asking this question, especially for people that like you're from a different era too. So it's kind of like I'm intrigued to hear your answer. What were your earliest memories of professional wrestling? Like as a fan, like what got you hooked and made you like professional wrestling?
Oh, I grew up in the '80s, and it was just seeing these superstars who were larger than life, the physiques, Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior. I mean, WrestleMania 3 when Hogan slammed
Yeah.
Andre, just the whole build up to that. I mean, like that's one of the best stories. But I was hooked since back then. Yeah.
Now that you say that, when you say like Hogan and Warrior, when think of David Otunga, one of the things that always stands out to me, I'm like, this guy was always jacked. He had a great physique. Was that something to you that
Thank you.
mattered when you got into wrestling? You're like, I want to
Yeah.
be one of the physique guys. Yeah,
Oh, absolutely. Like, I grew up, like I said, in the '80s. So you had
yeah,
Hogan, Ultimate Warrior. I liked Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Carl Weathers. All these guys were jacked.
yeah,
And so, like, that's what I wanted to do. I mean, clearly. Like,
yeah. That's awesome. Because
that's,
when you say
hey,
that,
man,
I'm like,
that's part of who I am.
that makes complete sense to me when you say that. Because I'm like, you know
Isn't
what, this.
isn't part of wrestling a bodybuilding competition? I'm
What
just
you
kidding.
would think, but you would think it's just no. You're not wrong though. I'm okay talking about this because I'm not like part of it like that. But like, I will 110, and I'm sure you'll agree with me on this. Today's professional wrestling, like the athletic ability of the talent is incredible, way better
Oh
than it was
yeah.
back in the day. The thing they can do things that guys back in the '80s wouldn't even try to do, Um, so in that sense, like we're way ahead of like we're way ahead. We're at a good place in terms of athletic ability, but the presentation part sometimes is lacking these
Hmm.
days. But I think that's not only professional wrestling. Like I think that's across all sports where like the athletic ability is great in basketball and all the other sports and stuff as well, but the presence isn't there with everybody anymore. And I think
Yeah.
that
I
larger than life presence kind of disappeared.
I agree with you, and that's a huge part of what we do because this is sports entertainment. The athletic ability is extremely important, but the other side of that is it's your presentation with it because there's a ton of guys who can all do the moves. But if you don't have the charisma or the presentation, you don't make it in pro wrestling. I mean, there's famously guys who weren't that athletic who made it to the top because of their charisma and their presentation.
Yeah, and I think we've seen it a lot too, where guys that got let go came back, and one of the things that was very common with all the guys that came back was that they were all in way better shape.
Yeah.
So there's something there. Let's talk about your career though really quickly. Before wrestling, you did a few things. First, you got your law degree at Harvard. When did you so tell me this. So you got your law degree, you're working in law. When did you decide you want to be a professional wrestler? Like, is this something you want to do when you were a kid, but you put it on the back burner, didn't think it was a possibility, and then did something else and then was like, wait a minute? Or like, was it something after you got a degree, like, wait a minute?
All right. So I got to explain this. It's kind of a long story, but it'll make sense.
Yeah.
All right. So, like I said, I grew up in the 80s. I knew what I wanted to do from the time I was 6 years old. I wanted to be a professional wrestler and an action movie star. That's what I wanted to do. But
yeah,
my parents were educators, and so, my mom told me, okay, not everybody makes it in entertainment. Those are great dreams, but you need to have a fallback career. And I always did well in school, but I'd rather be outside playing and doing athletics. I wasn't into school, but my grades were always really good. So I ended up going to University of Illinois as a pre-med student. I didn't really want to go to medical school, but my dad wanted me to. So, all right, I'm trying to make my dad happy. My dad was an immigrant from Kenya, by the way. And so I graduated from University of Illinois. I didn't want to go to medical school. I needed to figure out another option here. So I ended up getting a job at Columbia University in New York, managing a cognitive neuroscience lab. All right, this sounds incredibly boring to me, but in my mind, this was awesome because this is in New York City, and there's got to be way more opportunities for acting in New York than where I was in Illinois. So I'm thinking I can get my big break, get into acting, parlay that into wrestling, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, I go out there. I'm working here. I'm really close with my dad. I talk to him like every day. And being an immigrant, my dad was telling me how he always wanted to be a lawyer, but he never thought he was smart enough. Yet my dad had his PhD, 2 different master's degrees, and a certificate of advanced studies, which is between a master's degree and a PhD. So he's like the most educated person I've ever met, which is wild to me for him to say, like, he didn't think he was smart enough to be a lawyer. So anyway, we were talking about this, and I said, hey, you know what? What if I took the LSAT, the law school entrance exam, and like for fun? And so I called my buddy Dave, who was my roommate in college, and he's studying for the LSAT. And I was like, hey, Dave, I think I'm going to take the law school exam. And he's like, what, this one? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, it's 3 weeks away. He's like, you can't just show up and take this test. He's like, this is my second time taking it. And like, they'll average your scores if you don't do well. But I'm trying to explain to him, yeah, okay, I know that's great advice, but like, this is something I'm doing for fun with my dad. So I take the test, and I did pretty good. I did really good. I did great. So my dad's really excited, and I didn't expect I would do like I did. So he's like, well, we got to apply to just all the top schools, the Ivy League and stuff. And the thing of it is, I wasn't planning on applying to schools. This was literally I just wanted to see what my score would be. This would be for fun. So he's really getting into this, and I'm like, all right, so what could this hurt? I'll play along with this. We started sending out applications and stuff. And like, my dad is so excited. Like, I promise you, he calls me every day on my lunch break. Like, have you heard anything? Did you hear back from these schools? I'm like, Dad, we just sent them out. Like, you got to wait. And I get a call this one day, and my dad had a sudden heart attack and died. And it was completely out of the blue. And I mean, it's devastating. So I'm trying to just deal with this, and I fly home to Chicago to be with my family. And then while I'm there, I find out I got accepted to Harvard Law School. So this was an incredibly bittersweet moment for me, because here's this amazing accomplishment, but my dad just missed it. And I was doing it with him. And so for him just to miss, this part, it was bittersweet, because I know he knows, and he probably had a hand in it. But like, I still wanted to get that hug, because like, for him, this would have been, his championship, or like this would have been better than winning the lottery for him, is to know his son is at Harvard Law School. But that puts me in this weird place because this was something we did for fun, and it went way beyond where I thought it was going to go. Like, I didn't intend for this to happen. And then my dad passed, like, right this time. So trying to figure out how to navigate this. And my mom tells me, she's like, David, you are not going to turn down Harvard Law School. Are you kidding? And so I decided to go and get my degree, and I would do that to honor my dad. So as a way to honor my dad. And so I did, and I'm extremely happy I did. I mean, you can see it hangs behind me, right near my championship titles. That's probably my proudest achievement, just because of what it means, for me and what it would mean for my dad. But that's how I ended up becoming a lawyer. And then after law school, I had student loans and stuff, and I wasn't thinking about being a lawyer, but I heard how much money these law firms were offering. So, wait, let me check this out. So you're going to pay me how much? All right. Hey, I got to get these loans taken care of. You know what? I'll come and do this. And so I went to the largest firm in Chicago for a year, and, it was great. But while I was there, I knew I was living somebody else's dream. This wasn't my dream. Like, this
Your heart wasn't in it.
Yeah, and this is a dream job for many people, but like I told you my story, I kind of fell into this. Like, I got here, but this isn't where I was trying to go. And so I still wanted to go pursue my dreams, which was professional wrestling and acting. And during this time, I got an opportunity to be on a reality show, and I thought, hey, maybe this could help me get into wrestling and entertainment. So I took that opportunity. I loved it. It was very successful, and ultimately that's kind of what helped me get into professional wrestling, because I was on the right track. It gave me the courage to then completely just leave the law firm and go out on my own and try to pursue my dreams. It was scary, but like sometimes you need that, where there's no backup plan. You just go.
It's crazy. Now I have so many questions I've planned here for you, but now my brain's all over the place. First things first, I think it is a really cool story. It's really cool that you got to do something for your dad, or you got to live vicariously through you.
Thank you.
I also lost my dad in 2023, so I'm sorry for your loss. But what I realized, which is coincidence that you said that part, like maybe you had a hand to play in, is like a lot of good things started happening to me after my dad passed away, in terms of like in my career life, not in my personal life, because obviously it's hard, but in my career life. And I'm like, maybe there's something at play here. So it's good to think of it that way. Like there's like
telling you.
I did a lot for him before he passed away, and maybe this was the only way he knew he could pay me back, because there's probably no other way he could have, right? So I like that you put that out there when you said maybe he has to play with it, because I think maybe he did, just from like my own experiences, like. And he knew what you were doing, and maybe everything that followed that you were able to do was also part of him being like, okay, well, you did my thing, now go do your thing.
That could be that could be
having,
your own guardian angel.
100%. And then also I want to point out the fact that, isn't that crazy how that happens sometimes when you start doing something as a joke and then it becomes a whole thing, or like just for fun.
Yeah.
I started this whole wrestling thing because my ex-girlfriend didn't want me to have Instagram, so deactivated my Instagram account and made a wrestling page. And now I'm out here interviewing the likes of you. I've interviewed Stone Cold and Sting and done media for WWE and AEW awesome. And all this stuff. But it's just like, everyone's like, how did this start? I'm like, it wasn't really, I was working at the bank. I was giving out loans and opening accounts and hedge funds, and now I'm doing this wrestling stuff. So I think that's cool. And I honestly think that could be like a movie itself, your own story there. It's a cool little scenario.
Thank you. Yeah. I think it could be. That'd be interesting. Like, I wonder who I would get to play myself. Or obviously, I'd want to play myself. Do like an Eminem, like 8 Mile type thing or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. There could be something there.
What's up, everybody? This is RV here from Rain City Toys. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Wrestling Classic. Check out the TWC show that Justin and I do weekly. Also subscribe to Just Yappin'. Justin and I talk about wrestling and everything else that we feel like talking about. If you guys are looking for figures, hit me up. Got some old school legends right here like Rick Martel. Find some of the newer guys like CM Punk. Got some Stone Cold Steve Austin. Anything you're looking for, just hit me up. Follow me on Instagram, Rain City Toys. Hit me up on TikTok, Rain City Toys. Kind of falling behind Justin here on some followers, so let's get those subscriber count up. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. And you guys go back to the show, and hope you guys enjoy.
It's a wild resume. You went to Harvard, you worked in law, you were on reality TV. It was a it was that New York show, right? With
Yeah,
New
I
York
love
from
New
the
York.
Flavor from the Flavor Flav. She got her own
Yeah.
spin-off at her show.
Yeah.
I remember the whole scenario of events. I watched the Flavor for Love. I remember, and then that got you out there where you got noticed by the world of professional wrestling. But tell me how the reality show experience gave you the courage to like put yourself out there, because obviously that was something you had to do. Like, okay, you did all this stuff, which was education, behind the scenes work at a law firm. Now you're out there, you're on television, you have to put yourself out there. Were you always okay with doing that, or was that something you got used to?
Okay. So this is how I got into that. Is so I'm working at the law firm, and I've already realized, I want to go pursue entertainment. I can't figure out how to make that step because I'm also working 16 hours a day. So I don't really have time to like try to go on auditions and whatnot. But anyway, I'm working at the firm, and I get a phone call one day, and it's on my cell phone, and it's from a casting director. And they're like, "Hi, is this David Otunga?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Oh, we'd like to set up your audition for I Love New York too." And I'm like, "Wait, my what?" Like, yeah. We have your profile right in front of us. You're a lawyer from Harvard. You're a bodybuilder. You're an actor. I'm like, "Yeah, that's true, but I didn't submit an audition." Like, I'm actually confused. I don't know how you have my cell phone number, but I don't know if this is a prank, but it sounded legit. I get off the phone. I call my sister, and I'm laughing about this. Like, you're not gonna believe this crazy story that just happened. Somebody called me, and she's like, "No way, somebody's messing with you." We get off the phone. And she calls me back later. She's like, "You're not going to believe this, but I had a niece who's 13 years old at the time, and she was autistic. And she actually typed up this profile and sent it to this casting director for me. Because, like, she was a huge fan of the shows.
Yeah.
And this is just what she did. And it worked. But the thing is, like, it's crazy. Like, it actually worked. And so, I turned the show down, like, 3 times probably. And I explained to them, I'm working at the most prestigious firm in Chicago. I can't just leave and go do a reality show. I mean, this isn't what I'm trying to do anyway. I wanted to be an actor. But, in one of the last conversations I had with them, they were like, "Well, if you ever had any plans of being an actor or getting into entertainment, this could be a great first step." And I was like, "Oh, man." Just the way that this came about, and it was so organic, and, like, the universe brought it to me, or God could have literally brought this to me.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'll entertain this. So I did the reality show. I loved it, man. I had such a blast because I watched the first season of it, so I knew what it was, and I went into it just, like taking it and enjoying it for what it is and playing along with it. And so I had such a great time, and it was a hit, man. Like I'm telling you, like I did not expect it to be like this. So I remember literally, walking down the street. I'm nobody. The next week, once that first show aired, people literally were calling me, "Oh, Punk! Yo, you're Punk! You're Punk!" Like, whoa, this is crazy, but it's kind of cool. And then, like, what was really wild to me is like celebrities knew me. This is like the MySpace time. Like, celebrities were hitting me at MySpace, like, "Yo, you're my favorite on the show." Like,
well,
this is crazy.
That was the era where like reality TV shows were like just starting to really, like, now we have a lot of them all the time, but they were just popping off a lot, right? Big Brother was getting more popular. The Real World was like top of the thing. MTV was doing all these shows. You were getting the Surreal Life and everything starting, and it was a time to be on there. So that's awesome. It's crazy because it's like you're like a very intelligent Forrest Gump. You've just done a lot of things and been in a lot of scenes.
I love it.
In a lot of scenes, and someone might watch something and be like, "Hey, is that David Otunga?" What is
That's pretty accurate.
Yeah. Well, whether it's like someone's legal case or someone on TV or wrestling or a movie or a TV show, what's one thing you think people would find really surprising about you? Or they see something like, "Oh, what? He was in that? I didn't even realize that."
I'd say She-Hulk. Marvel. That's been a big one because, for example, like I'd be at the gym. This would happen a lot, and like guys would come up to me recently and be like, "Oh my gosh, you're in She-Hulk." Like I was watching that, I was like, "Yo, that's the guy from my gym. Like that, that's him." And it wasn't even people who knew me as David Otunga or that I was a wrestler. I did all this other stuff, but it was just that's the guy from the gym, and he's in She-Hulk.
That's the guy from the gym.
Cool is, like then when I got that role, like people were reporting that David Otunga was doing a cameo. No, I was not doing a cameo. I auditioned like everybody else and got a legit role in it. This character Derek, I did not play David Otunga. It just so happens it is interesting that She-Hulk is an attorney. And I am as well. And it's Incredible Hulk, who happens to be my favorite Marvel character. And, you know, I do put time into my physique. However, none of that had anything to do with getting the role. I think the producers were shocked when all of a sudden this guy who just has, you know, like a regular role in here, like he's getting all this press about this. Like, wait, who is this? What? Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And he's a lawyer, and he's a bodybuilder.
And he's
somehow this all made
WWE?
sense.
Like, what? This guy doesn't even seem real. What?
Yeah. That's what I mean. Then a very intelligent, strong Forrest Gump we got going on here. Let me ask you this then, because I was going to jump to the movie stuff at the end, but let's talk about that before we get into wrestling. You were in She-Hulk, and now that I heard your story at the beginning, I know the show wasn't so much of that, but for someone that wanted to be like an action hero is one of your dreams, as wrestler and an action hero. Being in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is as big as it gets as being an action hero. So how cool is it to know that you're now part of this universe?
Oh, brother, that was amazing. That was it. Like for my son and I, that's our goal for me. Like, well, actually, I want my own superhero role. Like, I want to have like a legitimate character. That's our goal. So it was really cool just to get into She-Hulk because the Incredible Hulk is my favorite character, and so being able to be part of that show, getting into the Marvel universe, that was a win for us. Like, it's a win, but like Kobe said, job's not finished. Like, we still got to get a higher role in it. But anyway, it was just awesome getting my foot in the door and just being a part of that, man. It was really cool.
It's insane. Now thinking of that also came full circle in a way. So, but we're still manifesting the main superhero role. We'll put that out there. You're also part of the Tyler Perry universe. You were in the Medea's funeral. I forget the name of the one, but I watched it. Medea Family Funeral. That's the one. How is it to be a part of that? Because those movies are, some hit or misses, but they're always funny. The Medea character is fantastic. I think people at real life stuff get into it and they kind of sour, but I'm like, no, she's hilarious. He's hilarious when he plays Medea. How does it feel to be part of that universe as well? Because at the end of the day, people are going to remember it. It's for this generation's going to remember it.
Yeah, no, they will. No, it's awesome being part of that too. And, that was a role Tyler handpicked me for and, called and told me he'd written a role for me. And so that was, that was amazing to get a phone call like that. Like, I'll never forget that. And then working with Tyler was amazing because he played 4 different characters in this movie. Yeah. And there's a scene where all 4 of them are talking to each other and in the middle of a conversation. And I remember being right there in that scene. We filmed it like all day because he had to play each of the 4 parts and then them interacting with everybody. And it really just showed his brilliance all, in one scene and like how he's able to do this and keep this straight. And it was impressive to watch, Extremely.
It's insane because it is its own cinematic universe. Like everyone's somehow related, but not. And it's this uncle's niece or this person's nephew or this person's cousin. It's like now you're part of that universe too. You're tied in this giant family now, which is cool. You got to work with Halle Berry in The Calling. How was that? How was working with Halle Berry, especially being an '80s, '90s kid that grew up with Halle Berry? It must have been an experience.
Are you kidding me, Halle? What? Come on now. And she was so sweet. She was so nice. And I think that made it even better because it would be terrible if you meet her and she's this awful person, but she's just as sweet as like you see on TV. And like they say, don't meet your heroes or people you look up to, but like, she was great. She was awesome.
Take it back for a second, Sif. To ask what is your relationship with Tyler Perry? How do you guys know each other if he handpicked you like that?
I did the Haves and the Have-Nots. I did an episode of that years back, and so he was really impressed with my work then, and stayed in touch. And he said he would keep me in mind for some stuff. And then when he had this film, that's where he got me from. But yeah, I did one episode, and I played a police officer, and that's all it took.
Isn't that the best when someone actually says that and then they like mean it and then it comes around and
Yeah,
like, oh,
when they actually do it. Yeah, 'cause, I mean that's a classic blow off line in this business. Go like, yeah, all right, thanks,
keep
man.
your mind.
Yeah.
I'll let you know
Never
something
hear-
comes
never
down the
hear-
line. Oh, I don't think this is a role
Right.
for you, but something will come up, and you're like, nothing's coming up. That's cool. We'll hop on a call sometime. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's awesome. Let's get into wrestling. Speaking about the business, let's talk about wrestling. First things first. Looking at the Performance Center and everything now, were you part of that FCW class right before the Performance Center? Because you were the first NXT class, right?
Correct. Yeah, no, I was part of the FCW class 1 or 2 before the Performance Center.
Okay.
And I've been to the Performance Center, and boy, it's unbelievable. It's the Ritz-Carlton compared to FCW. Man, we just had a warehouse with 3 rings in one room, and then we had one nice room for TV, or one nice ring for TV, which was like your parents' living room with the plastic on everything. You can't go in there until there's company, but otherwise you got to go play in the back in the 3 rings. But like that Performance Center, man, they have a gym in there, they have PT, they have recovery, they have a common area. it looks like a little campus, like college. Like, oh, that's nice, man. They got everything.
You beat me because I was asking, like, what do you think about this new Performance Center? As someone that came up in the FCW warehouse over there, but
I think it's long overdue though. But I'm glad that they have it. Like I wish we would have had that. But they finally got that together, and I think that's just amazing for them.
Who was in your class of FCW? Who were you there with that people might still remember?
I started the same day as Taylor Rotunda, Bo Dallas, and then Windham Rotunda came right after that. Rest in peace, who's Bray Wyatt. And so we literally started at the same time. Wes Briscoe was with us. The Usos came not too long after. Those are my guys. The Bella Twins were there. Sheamus, Wade Barrett, Drew McIntyre, everybody from NXT.
What a wild class. Yeah. That's insane. Do you have one specific, either funny or solid memory from that era in FCW that you could share? Like something that really, when you think about FCW, like, oh, that was a funny thing, or that was something that was stressful.
Man, there's a lot. Like, okay, because somebody asked me this, and I was talking about this yesterday, but there was a guy I worked with. He was great. His name was Max McGurk. Shout out to Max McGurk. And I was always a babyface in FCW, and this was right when I got to turn heel. And I remember we were doing an FCW live event. This was like one of my first matches as being a heel, and it was at a car dealership outside in their parking lot. And so Saturday morning, I don't know, there was 25 people there. Who knows? 50? I don't know. Anyway, so it's baby faces up. All the baby faces are going over. All right, cool. Max's good move was this missile drop kick. So that was basically going to be his finisher. All right, cool. We do the thing. I first get to put heat on him, and I'm excited because I'm getting to be a heel. And this is fun. All right, we go to the end. All right, run through his comeback. I'm down. I'm getting ready to get up for this missile drop kick. Get up. All right, he hits me with it. Boom. I take the bump. All right, cool. I'm happy. I'm proud. Yeah, this match was decent. I'm laying there waiting for him to cover me, thinking to myself, this was decent. He's taking a little while. Like, yo, Max, what are you doing? I look up. I look across the ring, and he's like, his eyes rolled back of his head. Knocked himself out on his missile drop kick. On his own move. And so I'm like, what? I look over. And the ref is like, just cover him. I crawl over and cover him. 1, 2, 3. I won because the babyface knocked himself out on his missile dropkick, so I just covered him and won. But it just was so funny to me because, I mean, come on, man. Come on. But anyway, this is the kind of thing that happened in FCW. He was a great guy too, but I mean, he was still learning also. But man, it just made for a wild match.
That's what I always think about. People forget about when it comes to even watching NXT. Sometimes I'm like, I know it's on TV and it's a big it's considered the third show, but I'm like, 90% of the people on this show are still learning, and people need to remember that sometimes. Like they get harsh, and I'm like, most of these people were athletes that were trained from scratch, so they're still learning. You won the original NXT though, which coincidentally was more like a reality show than a wrestling show.
Yes.
And you were the runner-up. How did you feel about that first NXT experience. Eventually, after like 2-3 seasons, it changed to a wrestling show. But originally, it was a game show. You guys are doing contests and promo contests and all this type of stuff.
I'm so glad that you said that, because I think people forget, because they see what NXT is now. NXT, when I did it, was a reality show. Like, it was not the third brand. It was not like Raw or SmackDown. It was a reality show, and what people don't realize is it was legit for us. Like okay, all right. Wrestling, hey guys, sorry. Wrestling is scripted and predetermined, right? But this reality show, they tried to make legit, like for us, like for the boys. Now, I don't understand why they had to do it. The whole thing is a work. The audience doesn't know. The audience thinks we're in on it, but we really weren't. So who are we really fooling here? The only people being fooled were us. Like, we're us. Because everybody else knows. And like, we didn't know what was going to happen from week to week. Like, for real, like they kayfabed us. Like, when we did those promo battles, that was legit. They just gave us a word on the spot. Now, you could have told us or given us even a few words it could have been, so we could have prepared, like, good promos, look polished. But that's not what they wanted to do. But I don't know if the audience actually knew that. But that was legit. So for me, I did well, I think, because I came from reality TV and I knew what to expect, so I always treated it like that. Whereas I think some of the other guys were thrown off too, because they're like, wait, this is for real or what? But anyway, it was fun. It was fun, and being runner up, I feel like I should have won, obviously. Yeah. But I feel like that might have been the only part that was rigged, is that I had to be runner up.
Who won? But But it's interesting. It's interesting because, like, I don't think, because it's not really out there a lot too, these episodes of the game show stuff, and it's like every other sort of reality show WWE tried doing. This also speaks volumes again of how popular reality shows were in the 2000s. It would have been done, like, not in the arenas. It was like at the facility, Tough Enough, at wherever they're training people. They were doing this in front of the live crowd that thought they were coming there to see wrestling like the rest of the wrestling, so they just assumed it was just like everything else, when it's like, no, hey guys, this part of the show is real, but the part you're supposed to think is real is not real.
Right.
It's a little confusing. Yeah.
It is.
And they put pressure on you guys, because you guys are learning, and they're basically saying, we're going to see on live television what you guys are really good and not good at. And it's like,
right.
What?
And what? That's a great point. And for somebody like me, like, up to that point, I think I only had 14 months of wrestling experience from the day I learned how to lock up or walk in the ring for the very first time until I debuted on NXT on live TV. Like, it was 14 months, 16 months max. Yeah. And so I only had a handful of matches under my belt. Like, look, nobody is going to turn down that opportunity, but even I'm telling them, hey, look, guys, I think you might be pushing me a little fast. Like, yeah, I want to be on the main roster and everything, but I also want to know what I'm doing. Like, I don't feel quite like I've got a handle on everything yet, but I want to do what you guys are asking me to do. So, man, that was a lot of pressure on me. Like, I knew I could talk. Like, my promos were great. But, like, in the ring, hey, man, I may have only had a handful of matches up to this point.
And it's a little bit intimidating, kind of a mind game, because it's like, okay, we're all here. We know what the winner is probably going to get. What about the rest of us? Like, what is the point of this? Like, are we supposed to be, like, losers? Or are we written off? Or, like...
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, we knew whoever won was going to get a contract, but the word was that whoever didn't, they were probably going to be fired. Maybe which is the runner-up, but like everybody else was going to be fired. Like, that was, you had your chance on TV and you didn't get over, so you're done. And that's what made, like, the Nexus debut, that's what made that so real. And why that was different from, like, any other invasion there's ever been is because there was the real threat of us losing our job. Vince told us that before we went out, that if this didn't look right, we were going to be fired.
When did you guys find out about the invasion? And, like, was everyone kind of like, oh, so we're all staying? Like, Like, what part of something?
No.
When did people find out? Yeah.
So the week after the finale, they called all of us to TV, and the guys who were eliminated and everything. And this was weird because Wade was the only one who had a contract, so we knew he was safe. But the rest of us, like, we didn't know what was going on, and the consensus was we thought we were all being fired because nobody talked to us all day. Like, it was weird.
Yeah.
They wouldn't tell us anything that was going on, and I think doors might have been open. Like, this was an hour, maybe half an hour before the show started, and they called all of us into Vince's room in his office, and it's him and Michael Hayes, and we're like, oh man, here it is. But then they hand out these armbands with the Nexus logo on it, and they explain that they want us to go down to the ring in the main event and just wreak havoc. Take out John Cena, CM Punk, take out everybody moving. Ring announcer, whoever's there, the referee, tear the ring up. And Vince described it as we should look like wild animals. And he said, like, this has to look bad. It has to look vicious and real. And if it didn't look vicious enough, we were all fired. And so that's a lot of pressure. So we're literally going out there to fight for our jobs. And remember, like I was saying, like, I only had about 14 months experience at this point. So we had to go down there, and I had to kick it off. I had to punch the referee, Chad Patton. Now, like I said, I'm just learning, and I don't know if you know, but throwing a wrestling punch, like a working punch, is tough. And especially, like, it takes years of practice. And I had to do it first. So I was like, look, I can't mess this up. This has to look good. So in my mind, I'm like, hey, Chad might just have to eat one tonight. I'll apologize to him later. Hopefully I don't knock any teeth out. But this is what we had to do. And so, like, that's why that invasion it felt so organic and real, is because we were out there trying to impress Vince, trying to fight for our spots. And so then when we came to the back, like, we were nervous. Like, we didn't know if we did a good enough job or what, but we came to the back to a standing ovation, and Vince was really happy. So then we were like, all right, well, at least we bought ourselves another week.
Yeah, I understand why. I like it, but it is ironic that, like, Bryan choking Justin Roberts got him fired, when it's like, look as vicious as you can or you're fired. But I know what I get, like, sponsors and all that, but I just mean, it's just ironic. It's funny. And I think things worked out for him all right, for Bryan.
Yeah, he did for himself.
I think he did all right for himself. But I don't think, unless, like, obviously I'm old enough, I'm like a 90s kid, I don't think people realize now, because it didn't play out in the best way. Like, overall, it just became Cena beating everybody, but how cool that moment was in the moment, and how different it was because the product was kind of not the best at the time. And that happened, and it felt like something new. And they've tried to recreate that magic. They tried to do it with Retribution. They've tried. It's never like it was that time when you guys did it. But how much of that, and I'm not saying like those guys weren't, but how much of that was because you guys were so hungry to make an impact and be like, hey, we don't know what you just put us through in this game show. We need to make this work out.
It was that too. No, I think that was the main ingredient, or the key ingredient, is because this was real for us, and they treated it like that. And we were supposed to keep up kayfabe too, like backstage and like out of the ring. Like, we weren't supposed to talk to the boys in the locker room. We were supposed to travel with each other. We weren't supposed to sign autographs at the airport, nothing like that. And this was like a frat. Like, if we were caught with somewhere without our armband on, even at the gym, like, we could be fined for it. Like, it was legit. So there's tons of pictures of me, like, at home, or like with my son. I got that armband on, no matter what I'm doing. I think I got it on when I'm wearing a suit somewhere sometime. It had to be in public. Like, I don't know. But part of the magic was this really was real to us. And also, like, a lot of the boys were jealous of us. And I remember, like, people just treating us different. And, I remember some guys telling us, well, enjoy it now because you're in the top spots. You're never going to be here again. And I'm like, whoa, man. Like, we just started. I just came from NXT, or from FCW. Like, hey, why are you guys throwing shade? We didn't ask for this, but we're here. We're doing something with it. But
they're just jealous. You guys got shot to the top of the card right away. That's all it was. Yeah. That's how it works, right? Hey, yo, it's your boy, the Wrestling Classic, Justin here, and I'm here to tell you guys about one of wrestling's best-kept secrets for merchandise, officially licensed WWE and NXT merchandise, 500level.com. Check them out, 500level. powerhouse.com. Get officially licensed merchandise for the WWE, NXT, UFC, MLB, NBA, NHL. They got it all. If you join the Partnership Point program as a loyal customer, you will get discounts down the road. You can find merchandise for some of your favorite NXT stars that you can't find anywhere else. Javon Evans, Kalani Jordan, Carmen Petrovic, Lola Vice, Trick Williams. They got merchandise for everybody on NXT. You got OG shirts like this NWO shirt. You got big stars like the Queen Charlotte Flair. You get new designs like this new design for Lita. You get designs I helped out with, like this design for Dakota Kai, which I was a part of creating when Dakota didn't have those many shirts going on. You can get, like I said, NXT superstars like Carmen Petrovic and many others. You can get OGs like the none other than the Hot Rod, Rowdy, Roddy Piper. You can get CM Punk, Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, anybody you want. Sami Zayn's 500level.com. Check them out. You can even get the bad guy, Razor Ramon. You get your OG, like I said, logo shirts, NWO, WWF, Survivor Series, Raw's War. 500level.com. Check them out. Join the partnership program. Some of the best quality shirts, premium quality, regular quality. Some of the best product you will find out there. Officially licensed WWE, NXT merchandise, and OG Legend stuff. 500level.com. Check them out. Keep doing the thing. We'll see you all later. Ooh, yeah. It was interesting, though, because it sucks that they started a season 2 of the game show again, because that would have been like the perfect angle of just, it was this game show that drove us mad. Now we're taking over. And like it made a lot of sense. I'm gonna say the names of the people in the group. Give me like a one sentence, either a description or something good about them or something you remember about them. Michael Tarver.
Oh, Tarver is one of my best friends. Like, he was super cool the moment I met him in FCW. So him and I always clicked. Yeah.
Why do you think we didn't see more from Tarver? In your opinion, don't give me the real reason. Like, what do you think was missing or might have didn't happen?
Wait, you mean the real reason?
Don't give me the real reason. I want your like opinion.
Reason.
Yeah. Because that's okay. I think people can look that up and find it. But
well,
what do you think?
My opinion, I do know the real reason, so I'm gonna have to tell you.
Okay, let's say it then.
I think it was more politics backstage.
Yeah.
It's like, Tarver is really talented. I mean, the guy really is, and like, he gives a great promo. He's got a great look. He was great, but like, there was some heat with his finishing move was a punch, and Big Show was using a punch, and so they didn't really want Tarver to do that. It was stuff like that, and then he did something else that I guess somebody else wanted, and they kept feeling like he was stepping on people's toes. But like, he had like a Run DMC T-shirt one time, and Cena had a shirt that I don't know was different. This was wild to me. I don't know how this had anything to do with anything, but Tarver caught heat for wearing a Run DMC shirt that they thought reminded people of Cena. I don't know, but he was talented, man. I felt bad for him. Like it seemed like it was just politics. But
how about Slater?
Oh, Heath, Heath, man, he's fun. He's fun. That's one of my guys too. Like, I had so much fun just being with Heath. We traveled together a bunch of times too. Funny stories, but Heath was great.
How crazy is that he just got so over and everyone was running with the Wendy's chant? Like, he came into his own, you know?
And that's the thing is, like, Heath is one of those guys, whatever you give him, he's going to make it great. He'll just take it for whatever it is and find some way to make it his own. And I mean, that just is a testament to, how talented he is.
He took that whole I got kids line and made it an entire gimmick. So it says a lot. Justin Gabriel, super talented. Justin Gabriel.
Yeah, that's my guy, PJ. He actually had my first match. Him and I wrestled my first match, so he carried me through it. We had a 6-minute Broadway at a flea market. Right.
It took me a second to get there, but you said a 6-minute Broadway.
6 minutes.
Yep, 6-minute Broadway. You didn't say 60. You said 6 minutes.
Nope, a 6-minute Broadway.
That's awesome. Yeah. Darren Young.
He's one of my good friends. Yeah. We still talk. Darren Young also. I just saw Darren Young a couple months ago in LA. Ran into him.
Yeah.
And, it's like anytime I see any of these guys, man, it's like we pick up right where we left off, and we just stop and talk forever. But yeah, Darren Young was great. I had my first match on NXT with him. So Darren's been a good friend for a long time too. Another guy who's super talented. He's in New Japan now. Darren is training guys. Like, yeah, man.
Yeah, he's at the dojo down there. It's crazy because it literally is kind of like a fraternity, like your buddies you went to high school with, right? You see them and everything's all good. You're like, oh, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Ryback, Skip Sheffield at the time, or Ryback, or what are your memories with him?
Oh man, we clicked. I mean, we're both big into bodybuilding and fitness and nutrition, all that stuff. So like we would talk about that all the time. Like we took the gym serious, and so it was cool. Just we connected on that. He's super talented also because like you know him as Ryback, but at that time he was Skip Sheffield, and the only reason he was Skip Sheffield is they wanted him to do something funny in FCW, and so he just did this character as like a promo. Then they made him keep doing it. So that's why like they tell you, be careful like in FCW or NXT, these characters that you do because they might stick. And that's what ended up happening with Ryback. And I remember he was good with the Skip Sheffield, but he always wanted to become Ryback. And then I was happy when they finally let him become Ryback. I mean, that was the right fit for him. Although Skip was a funny character, man. He was good.
Was funny, and it's crazy that transition when he became Ryback because like it's totally different, but like it fit. And it was over. Ryback was over. As much as people might want to have revisionist history, that stuff was he was over with that. He came in as the indie darling. He had a reputation in the indies. I knew him since he was in Ring of Honor and stuff too. What was it like working with Bryan?
That it was cool. It was interesting to me because I didn't know who he was. I'll be honest. Yeah. I had no idea who this guy is. And then they were telling me he's supposed to be the best in the world. This guy. Hey man, I've been out of
he didn't have the physique thing going on either.
No. hey man, no disrespect. This guy didn't have anything near the it factor. But he's a nice guy. Like you would never think that he was a wrestler. You might think he was a librarian or something. No, he obviously he's extremely talented and had been all over the world. It didn't take me long to realize, oh yeah, no, this guy is really legit.
The real deal. Yeah.
But yeah.
Wade Barrett.
Oh, Wade, that's my guy too, man. He's funny. But I think he's super talented also. Cuts a great promo. I think part of it was like he knew who his character was, and he was great at playing his character. So yeah.
How like this is just more of like a fan question at this point, but like, am I alone here thinking that if that Nexus run would have been a lot more successful, Wade won the title at some point from Cena or somebody? Like, I just feel like that was where the ball dropped a little bit.
I think that was supposed to be the plan. I actually think the plan is that at some point we were supposed to hold all the titles. I think Wade was supposed to hold, the World Championship. Slater and Gabriel were going to hold the tag championships, and I think I was supposed to either have the Intercontinental or the U.S. title. And I think that's what they were trying to go for. But then at some point, I was going to overthrow Wade and then take over the Nexus. But like that was the plan. We filmed it. It was a cliffhanger. But then you come back, CM Punk is now our new leader. What? What is this random storyline? And from where? Why?
Yeah. It felt like it ended because Wade never. I almost thought it should have happened at that Survivor. I think it was a Survivor Series where if like Cena was the ref, and if he made a mistake, then he would have got fired. I'm like, Wade should have won the belt there. Would have changed everything. Would have made this a bigger thing. And then how cool is it for you to see him back in the mix again, doing commentary in the WWE family after being gone for so long?
I think that's awesome. Yeah, and I'm glad to hear he's doing well. Glad to see him back.
And let's talk about that new Nexus. So quickly run through those names, and we'll get back to wrestling. In the new Nexus, you got to work with Mason Ryan. How was that situation with Mason?
Oh, Barry. Oh, he's great, man. He's huge, too, by the way.
He's in acting and stuff now, too, right?
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure I last heard he was doing Cirque du Soleil also.
Okay, I think I heard that, too, yeah.
I think he's been doing that for a while. But Barry, man, we used to travel together. He's a good dude, man. I miss him.
Yeah. Obviously, Husky Harris, Bray Wyatt, you guys were also in that new Nexus together. How was it working with him during that time?
Man, it was awesome. And like I said, like we started together in FCW, so I knew him. I knew Windham for a long time, and it was cool just like traveling with him. Man, he was such a genuine person. Like it hurt a lot when I heard that he passed, just because, man, not him. So still a tough one, but. Yeah, I remember like we stayed at his in-laws' house one time on the road, and it was cool, man. And just being friends, like, and back in Florida, I remember like before his kids were born and stuff. Like, man, So many memories. But anyway, yeah, rest in peace, man.
Hey yo, it's your boy the Wrestling Classic Justin. I'm here to show you guys the new officially licensed WWE plush toys that are available now at Walmart.ca online. Guys, you can get yourself a Jey Uso. Yeet! Look, he's got the hair, a little mullet going on here. He's got the glasses. Probably the coolest one that I think out of them all. I actually really like the Jey Uso. We got some legends. We got some guys like Hulk Hogan. We got Hulkamania. Got the Hulkster handlebars and all. We got the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is up in here. Look at the details on the jacket and all that fun stuff. We got the tribal chief himself, Roman Reigns. And guys, I'm only showing you some of them. There's so many other ones that aren't here with me now. There's Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, CM Punk, Rhea Ripley. This one's one of my favorites. Jake the Snake Roberts with the snake. A little cool detail to have the snake with him. I think anyone would enjoy playing with this guy. It's got the OG gear and everything as well. Snakeskin boots. Of course, I had to get Bret the Hitman Hart, the best there is, the best there was, the best there will be. Can I do like the thingy, the little hand thingy? I don't know. It's cool, Bret Hart. Once again, the details are really cool. You can pull the straps down. That's another thing that's like a little interesting, you know, if you want to be playing with these. It's his retirement tour, last time ever. It says it on the shirt. This is a very exclusive plush toy of John Cena. You can do the whole "You Can't See Me" last time ever. Pretty cool John Cena plush toy. These are kind of larger than your usual plush toys. They call them full size because they're a little bit bigger than the tiny ones that you can also get from Walmart. And then we also got none other than the final boss, The Rock, doing the people's eyebrow and everything. Check these out, walmart.ca. They'll be in stores. Select styles will be in select stores next month in November. And then in 2026, they'll be in some stores in the United States. WWE officially licensed plush toys. These were just some of the ones I could show you. There's a ton more. Make sure you get them all before they do another drop, so you don't miss out on any of the drops. You won the tag titles with Michael McGillicuddy, aka Kurt Hennig's son, Joe Hennig. How was that? But then also, why do you think it never like Joe never clicked as much as he should have? And they tried. They put him with Heyman. He won the IC title. What's your opinion on Joe? And then why do you think that didn't work out?
I think part of it was they should have let him have his name. Like, they always were trying to keep him separate from being Mr. Perfect's son, which is weird because everybody knew he's Mr. Perfect's son. Why are we trying to ignore this fact? And I think that, you know, well, I know that always bothered him too, but he was super talented also. And I don't really know. I don't think they ever, you know, truly invested in him. I don't know if it's they didn't know what to do. Like, they did try at some point, but I don't know if it was ever the right fit for him, to be honest. Yeah, I wish they would have done more with him because, like, yeah, the guy is super talented. Like, he should have been, you know, champion at some point.
I love how, like, even though you guys won the tag titles together, like, fast forward like 3-4 years, and he never got eliminated from the Royal Rumble, and you were like the legal guy that was like on his side, and like, no, he never got eliminated. He's the true winner.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, they're still rocking together. New Nexus over here.
That's right.
He's back. He left for 7 years. A lot of people didn't think he was ever coming back. But CM Punk is back. How was it being under the CM Punk learning tree? Another guy similar to Bryan, who came with a big reputation, an indie guy, has a different perspective of professional wrestling. How was it working with CM Punk?
It was cool, man. I learned a lot, you know, just because we used to travel with him. McGillicuddy and I used to drive him, and, you know, so we would have these long car talks, and, you know, he's a good guy. Like, he's unique. His personality may not be for everybody, but, like, you know, and if it doesn't seem like he likes everybody, but if he likes you, he likes you. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't think he liked me at all, to be I'll be honest. I'm pretty sure. In fact, I'm pretty sure he did not. But I will say that, you know, in terms of in traveling with him, I do know that he at least respected me by the end. No, I know he liked me because, like, he did something really cool for me a few times. So, yeah, no, we ended up having a good relationship, and I like Punk. I told this story not too long ago. When the Pipebomb promo, like, McGillicuddy and I were driving him at that time, and, he worked me on that. Like, when he went out and did that, I was shocked backstage. I was with Joe. Like, yo, Joe, are you here? Like, I don't know if you should be saying this. Like, he said this to us in the car, but, like, what's he doing? And then I was like, oh, man, he's going to be fired for real. And when he came backstage, I made sure I went and said bye to him. And I was like, hey, bro, that's what I tell you. Just in case I don't see you again, it's been real good to know you. You know, good luck or whatever. and he was laughing. He was like, "Oh, Otunga, you'll see me again." And I was like, "Man, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know about that, brother."
You said when Vince was dead.
Yeah, man. Hey, I don't know.
Well, that's crazy because I've heard a few of those stories that people didn't know if it was real or not. Like I've talked to Chris Masters and others, and they were like, "No, we had no idea." Like it was kind of like, "Wait, what?" But it also kind of sucks because indirectly that ended the whole new Nexus storyline, and it became the Summer of Punk, and then it was just kind of there was no sign for you guys that this was happening.
No.
Oh, that's interesting. Cena, you got to win the tag titles with Cena. When Cena's retirement year, how was it working with Cena? And since it is his retirement year, maybe give him his flowers about something maybe you learned from him.
Oh, I learned so much from John Cena. He was my favorite opponent, my favorite person to work with. Probably, if I'm being honest, he probably was my favorite superstar. Just because, like, you know, everything that he was doing, he's somebody that, you know, I tried to emulate in a way, and like with my career too. But he's a good dude, man, and he's really funny. But he was hard on us. But he was hard on and me in particular. Cena was really hard on me. And he told me, like, it's because he really liked me and, you know, was trying to push me. I think his way of getting the best out of people is tough love, which maybe isn't always how people like to learn. But like, he meant well, you know what I mean? And he really cares about this business, and I really did learn a lot from him. Like, he helped me perfect my lawyer character in the bow tie. And then even like my posing routine, he helped me work on that on an overseas tour one time. So like, and he gave me just a lot of advice. And so I honestly can't say enough positive things about John Cena. I know I give him a lot of crap. Like, hey man, I'm still gonna be honest. He was dirty for what he did to the Nexus at SummerSlam. He was. John, you know you were dirty for that. I'm being honest. But you're still my guy. I still think you're the GOAT. But hey, we gotta call a spade a spade. But it was awesome just working with him, and especially, you know, from being in the business, you know, so young. Like, man, I'm so green, and here I am in the main event with John Cena. Like, and then I'm so nervous, but he put me at ease because he literally called the entire match. And that was nerve-wracking to me because I'm like, no, I don't know if he understands, like, I'm so green. Like, if you don't tell me what to do, I'm going to stand here and just wait. Like, what should I do next? But, like, he covered it. And then once, you know, I worked with him, and I realized, oh, he's good. Like, he's really good. I could trust him. It was cool. But, yeah, like, his retirement tour, I'm glad he's going out like this because he is kind of like LeBron in a way.
He is, yeah.
So he's definitely on the Mount Rushmore. And, you know, it's too bad to see him go, but, you know, he had a heck of a career, and, you know, wish him the best.
Outside of Barrett being there, it's kind of a bummer we didn't get some sort of, like, final, like, conclusion or, like, a peace moment between the Nexus and John Cena during his last year. That would have been, because it was one of the biggest angles for his career during that time. Like, it was, once again, the product was stale. We kept seeing him facing the same people and beating them, and then here came this threat, and it wasn't one guy. It was, like, 6-7 of you. It was like, you know.
Right. I feel like they should have done something with it. I feel like we should have come back and beaten him down or something. And I think it would be
like helped him. Imagine you guys helped him,
or even that. But like, and hey man, everybody's heard the story. It gives Cena a chance to right that wrong about SummerSlam. I think fans would pop for that. But
for those that haven't heard,
it's just me.
You guys were supposed to go over. The two Chris Jericho and Edge were pushing for you guys to go over. Cena thought it was a bad idea. Ended up they went over at the end of it all. That's basically what happened.
Basically, yeah.
You know, the Sparks notes of it all. But yeah, and looking back at it, people sometimes are like, yeah, the Nexus probably should have went over. Like,
we absolutely should have gone over. Why would you invest this much time and effort into us where we're the hottest thing going? We're so hot, we get the main event at SummerSlam. Why would you then take all the steam out from us? Like that makes no sense. And then because they said they wanted SummerSlam to end on a happy note. I don't know. That's not good.
It's not business. The 80s. It's not the 80s anymore. Business. Yeah. We've established that people like the anti-hero. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. That would have probably been talked about in the documentary that was never released, but
I think we did talk about it.
Yeah, and then they never released it. which is
but
a bummer.
It's finished. It was finalized. I know that.
Who knows? Nowadays with the WWE Vault and all this other stuff, maybe it'll pop up on YouTube. Maybe it'll come out somewhere. I think there's still a possibility. Did you and Cena ever bond on the fact that you guys are both body physique guys? Because he's a body guy too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, and then that's what was cool is like we used to train together. Like,
okay. Yeah.
At his gym, and then like on the road, because that's the thing is I was serious, Ryback was serious. We were always going to be at the gym, and Cena also. And so like he would tell me sometimes, hey, in this town, make sure you check out this gym or whatnot. And so yeah, we'd always see each other in there. We'd hit legs together sometimes. We definitely bonded over that. So it's cool.
Let's wrap this up with the last couple of questions there. First things first, after all that, you did a lot of the pre-show stuff, some commentary stuff. How'd you enjoy that? Is that something you'd be interested in doing again? Would you like to be brought in on a time-to-time basis if you can maybe play that lawyer role again? Like, what interests you and how'd you enjoy all of that?
I did enjoy it. It wasn't something that I ever anticipated, and then it was a Vince thing. Like, he saw me in that role and asked that if I would try it because he said he thought I'd be great at it. So I was like, all right. So we did the Raw pre-show with Corey Graves in Connecticut, and man, we had a blast. Shout out to Corey Graves. I had a great time working with him. Like, we didn't really know each other much before this, but we just had instant chemistry. Like, we just got along, and we would give each other crap back and forth and just play along with it. And we just literally just had fun. We assumed nobody was watching the show, but one person was, and that was Vince. Like, the producers were telling us, so no, this is like Vince's favorite show. Like, he watches this every week, and like he'll belly laugh on it. I'm like, really? So then, like, sure enough, they weren't messing around because then I eventually got a call that they were going to move me to SmackDown as a commentator. That was completely out of left field for me. I'm like, what? But all right, I'll try it. And commentary, I'm telling you right now, commentary is a lot harder than people think because if you think I'm up there just saying whatever I want, you're wrong. Like, just give a comment, you are very, very wrong. You got somebody in your ear and you're telling the story. And so what was a disconnect was I was always a heel, but then they needed me to be a babyface commentator. So yeah. I've always been putting down John Cena, beating him up. Now all of a sudden I'm glazing him every chance. So like people couldn't take me serious. I couldn't take me serious. But it's fun, it's nerve-wracking, and it's very challenging. That's why there's a lot of turnover in that people don't usually last long in commentary. But if you're good at it, you'll do it for a long time. Michael Cole is amazing at it. Corey Graves is great at it. But yeah, no, I would come back and do that. I have a lot of fun doing that, actually. And you said, would I ever come back and be the lawyer character from time to time? Absolutely. That actually could be really fun. That could be really fun.
Like every once in a while, some like heel. Oh, you could be the lawyer for Chelsea Green's cabinet. Like anything would be funny. Like there's so many things you could do. Like there's always in the world of wrestling, just like in the world of business and life, there's always need for a lawyer. Okay, let me tell you.
That's true.
Yeah, you never know when you got to double check to make sure you're not getting in trouble for something. Let's talk about this YouTube channel because you brought that law world into the YouTube channel. You brought being able to bring your world of law into the world of wrestling in terms of like connecting the two. And as we do live in an era where like when I was a kid, there was very few. Now everybody's a news site. Everybody's breaking the news and trying to tell you what the deal is and talking about people's contracts and talking about this and talking about that. Recently the stuff happened with Andrade. I saw your video on it. I was like, oh, okay. I'm probably going to take his word for it because he's an actual lawyer than these people that are, some are actual journalists, some are self-made journalists, and they're trying to tell me what's going on here. What was the concept behind the YouTube channel, and was that a big part of it?
So that's exactly how I got here, to be honest.
Yeah.
This is another thing that was organic. I'm like you. I'm just watching YouTube and getting my news and all this stuff. But like, I'll tell you what it was. It was this Rajah Jackson incident. And it was hearing people talk about it on both sides who didn't really know what they were talking about because, I would hear from the lawyer channels and the legal analysis, but they don't understand professional wrestling culture. They don't know what a receipt is. They don't know what selling is. So their whole take was off because they didn't know what they were talking about.
They just thought he assaulted him. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'd have the boys talking about this, but they don't have any idea about the legal ramifications. So finally, I'd had enough, and I was like, I feel like I need to make a video just to explain this. Like, I'm the perfect person who lives in both worlds. So I made a video, and man, it really took off. It had like over 100,000 views, and people were asking me to do more. I'm like, hey, all right, let me do another one. So, I started following up with it, and the feedback was great. And then, people were asking, hey, you should cover other things. You should cover this. You should cover that. And so it's like, all right, let me make another video. It's kind of enjoying it.
Yeah.
And it just grew from that organically. And then this Andrade situation came out. And again, I'm the perfect person for this. Like, I realized I have my own niche here where, I'm not competing with anybody. There is nobody in my lane. And there will probably never, ever be anybody in my lane because I'm pretty sure there's not going to be another Harvard-educated lawyer in WWE, professional wrestling. Like, I'm the one and only. So anyway, that's how it just came. And it's a really cool intersection because there's so many things that I can cover. So many things I've wanted to cover for the longest. Yeah. And, just even on the WWE contract, I just did a video about that recently.
Yeah.
That's something I've wanted to talk about forever, just being a lawyer. Cause
hey, it's honestly like even for some of us older fans, like it'd be cool to see. Hey, let's see David Otunga explain exactly what was happening in this Hulk Hogan WCW contract that nobody else could properly explain to us, right? Like, it's like, what is creative? What is creative control? How does this actually work? Like,
right.
This and now when I think of you, I'm like, I can't wait till he drops a video on this because I think because everyone will throw the word out there. She has creative control. This person has creative control. What does that really entail? Does that work on the independents too, or is it just on this show? Or it's just, there's a lot of stuff out there I think you can cover, and I think it's cool to actually have someone that has the actual education and degree to tell us these things. Then he says, she said, this is what I heard, this is what I know. Right. But how do you know for sure? Right? Like, what would really happen in the court of law if this got taken to that point? So right. I think it's really cool, and I think everyone should subscribe and check it out.
Please do.
When did you know that the wrestling part of your career was wrapped up and that was done? And how did you feel about it?
I'll tell you when I get to that point.
All right. Let me ask you.
I mean, look, I'm not retired. I just haven't wrestled in a long time. It came to the point where Vince really wanted me to do more commentary because up until then there was talks of me trying to get back in the ring and just with the right storyline and whatnot. But he really liked what I was doing, and it was more one of these things. He wanted to groom me for that, and so I understood that for right now or for the time being, Vince wants me talking, and there's more longevity in that. However, I still would like to get in the ring. So then I kind of was okay with that in that, if I'm being honest, I accomplished most everything I wanted to do, already. To be honest with you, I accomplished most everything I wanted to do in my life by the time I was like 32. And so everything
which is
else
amazing,
is gravy. Thank you. Everything else is gravy to me. And so would I love to get in the ring again? Sure. Would I love a singles championship? Something else to hang up behind me? Of course. But am I good if I don't get it? Yeah. I mean, I've already got 3 of them hanging back there. Yeah. Like I feel like I've won at life already. I beat the game. I'm just on side missions now, having fun, to be honest.
But that being all said, you're ready to lace up again if you got the opportunity you were asked to.
Yeah, if it was the right situation. That's the thing. Is right now, I have the power because I'm content. Like I'm good.
Yeah, I was about to say that too. I'm like, there's a power there when you're okay. Like it's not like there's no level of desperation or dream for it at the moment. Yeah,
it's not like people haven't asked me to, but like I'm not gonna come back for something that doesn't make any sense because like I'd want to add to the legacy of David Otunga and my character. So if it was something that I felt added to that and was worthwhile, absolutely, I'd jump at the chance. But if it's not that and it's not on the level I want or, not the right story I feel not fit for me, I'm not going to do it because I don't have to.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Is there one match that you really cherish the most? One match I usually put it this way. If you could show 10-year-old David Otunga one of your matches, what match would you show him? You know what? It was one on, it was a couple of them actually, but
a singles match on Raw against John Cena, main event. Because
Yeah.
I was able to do that a couple times. Some of them I would do dark main events, but some were on TV. And just the fact that I'm wrestling the top guy and one of the GOATs who's on the Mount Rushmore, and I got to go one-on-one with him, when he was at his best and in his prime, and I'm at my best, and more than held my own, and especially as young as I was and with as inexperienced as I was, but still like that to me. Obviously, I didn't win. But I didn't need to. But I actually, let me rephrase that. I did win. I did win just by being in the match and being the heel that got to be in there and share the ring with John Cena. So yeah, that would be it.
Some of my favorite matches of my favorite wrestlers are the ones they didn't win. So it says a lot. And when both guys can walk out of a match and you're like, well, no, I like both of them now. Even though even like the guy that lost, like that was really cool. That's the best stuff, right? That's the nuances of wrestling that makes it good when it's good. If I can ask you, because like if you were like, well, I'm gonna wrap this up. We went over an hour. I was not expecting to do that, so I apologize. But if you if you were to write a list of the things that, because I only know this now because you told me your story at the beginning here. If you were to write a list of the things that you want to do as a kid, and you're able to check them off now, you did a lot of them. You're the action star, you were acting, you wrestled, you didn't want to be a lawyer, but your dad did, so you vicariously did what he wanted to do too, and you can check that off. What advice would you give for someone that's aspirational about something, trying to do something? Because like we've seen that you've done all this stuff, but it's easy to tell the story and not really focus on like, it was really hard doing it. It sounds like, oh, it was really easy. I always say like people see the end result and they see that and they're like, that's what I want. Like I want to be The Rock when he's a big movie star, but nobody wants to talk about The Rock 2003 to 2012 when he wasn't making the greatest movies and he was struggling in Hollywood to get that to that point. No one ever talks about that. He's just a big movie star. What advice would you give to people that are aspirational to achieve goals and dreams like that might only be seeing the end half?
I'm gonna flip it and use your question is that's exactly it. Is people do not see the amount of work it takes for all of this, especially just acting. Like for me, you have no idea how many auditions I've been on. I still go on. I had one 2 days ago, just to get a role. And then people say, "Oh, he's an overnight success." Or, "Oh, he did this," or he's in everything. No, I'm not. There's so many things I was so close to. We were talking about Marvel. There was a Marvel character. It was down to me and one other guy.
Wow.
I lost it.
Wow.
They said I didn't have enough.
See, but like nobody hears that part, just sees that part,
nobody hears about that. You're not supposed to talk about it. I was devastated. I was getting ready to go on the air and commentate SmackDown when I got the news that I didn't get it. This was like 20 minutes before. Like, I'm going through one of the biggest disappointments in my life, but I have to be professional and go out and call SmackDown and still, be present and all that. But my main advice would just be, it's a lot of work. It really is. But if you stick with it and you persevere, it will be worth it. Because that's the thing is, it's all like a test. It's testing you to see how bad you really want it. Do you want it as bad as you say you do? And if you do, you'll find a way. That's always been the thing with me is like, that's how I know how if I really want to achieve something or not. If I am willing to put in the work for it, all right, it's worth it for me. If it's something that, I'd like to do that, but I'm not going to do all that to get to it, then my heart's not in it enough. So just go with things that you feel passionate about and that putting work in doesn't feel like work. Yeah,
and not everything's a home run, to put it in a different perspective. You're going to hit some roadblocks, you're going to hit a lot. And I think that's the part people don't see. I was like, like even the people you look at and like, they're so successful and they're so great. Like they've been rejected. They've had to grow thick skin. They've been played,
the amount of rejection in this business is wild. Like that's the thing you have to get over, to the point where I say like this: you have to be delusional. You have to be delusional. Like I'm delusional in the sense that I feel like everything I do is great. Every audition I turn in, I should get that role. But I have to be delusional like that. And when I don't get it, or if I don't get it, I'm like, man, they're crazy. And I still think my audition was the best. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. And then, you know what? The very next audition I get, guess what my mindset is? Oh, I'm getting this for sure. Like, this is
But you have to. I heard Jeff Jarrett talk about that delusional, being a delusional optimist. Like just
optimistically delusional.
Just
But
going
you don't
into
think it
things being
is?
like, no, I got this. Like even though you might have been rejected like 6 times, like no, this time's good. I know what I'm doing now. I learned from the last time.
Now, let me tell you the graduate level of that I've just started to get to with myself is after being delusional like that, delusionally confident for so long, it starts becoming real. Other people start believing in my delusion, and it doesn't become delusion anymore. It becomes my reality. Like things that I say about myself, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. They don't know, but I'm really this. Now, especially like this year in my life too, I feel like people are realizing, no, he really is that. He's him.
And that's an art in itself that I've learned in the long run too. Is like if nobody, and I used to say it at the beginning, but I think I used to say it because it was kind of like a good cliche thing to say. But then the more I've done stuff, I'm like, oh, it's true. Like nobody is going to believe in you if you do not believe in yourself. And I don't know what you have to do to make yourself believe in yourself, but like you need to delusionally believe in yourself, and eventually the people around you be like, he must, like there must be something going on there. Like he knows this person, he's done that, or this happened for them. Like I'm like, so we all start at zero is pretty much the point, but you gotta believe in yourself enough to take it to 100. And I think that's good advice. And last but not least, I ask everybody this before I wrap it up, and I think it's I'm excited to hear your answer. Let it marinate, because it's really easy to be like, yes, I have. But do you feel like you've made your younger self proud at this point?
Yes, absolutely. I know that. That's what I was saying. It's like by the time I was 32, I reached every goal my younger self wanted. I mean, down to even just looking the way I wanted to look. I surpassed that. I was on the cover of Muscle and Fitness. To me, that is. I say that because that's such a huge accomplishment for me personally. Is the little kid that I was growing up and being chubby, overweight, but looking at these physiques on these magazines when I was in the grocery store with my mom, waiting while she checked out, and dreaming about looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger, or dreaming about being on the cover of that magazine and having other little kids stand in my shoes and look at me. And then now to achieve that, like that's something that personally, just for me, will always be one of my proudest accomplishments for myself, because also I know the incredible amount of work it took to achieve that. And that's something that like I challenge myself with every day, is still working out and working on my physique. And it's tough to maintain that level of physique and dedication when there's no particular goal you're chasing. Like I'm just challenging myself. I don't have to be on TV with my shirt off and in wrestling trunks. I don't have to do that, but I'm doing this for me. And I'm happy. Like I don't feel like I know my physique is better now than it was when I was wrestling.
Yeah, that's crazy. Really, just the intelligent, jacked Forrest Gump. I mean, like Muscle and Fitness, WWE, Marvel, Tyler Perry. I think I heard Criminal Minds before. Soap operas, reality shows, like
The
Lawyer. Power
Universe too. Yep.
Look at this, right? Just everywhere.
Thank you.
No, this is really cool, dude. I really appreciate your time. It was fun talking to you. Like when I was asked, like, do you want to interview David? I'm like, hell yeah. I'm like, I don't know, like I just have fun talking to people that I'm like I never thought I'd talk to. Like there's some people like I'm like no, but like this would be fun because like I was a fan. I was there for the whole Nexus thing.
Thank you.
I enjoyed the lawyer gimmick, and it's cool to see that you're. Then, like when I'm doing research, I'm like, oh, he's still out here doing all these things. This is crazy. Like people need to know about this. But so thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
You got it. Thank you, man. I really appreciate this too. This was fun.
Everybody, make sure you guys go follow David Otunga. I'll put his socials below. Follow his YouTube channel. Keep up. Be educated. Get the legal advice of what's going on in the world of wrestling and beyond. And who knows? Maybe like it'll spread into other things too. Maybe people want to know how something fell apart in the world of Hollywood, and Otunga can give us the advice of, let me tell you what really happened on this movie set in his contract and why he's not allowed to be this person anymore in this role. Yeah, but
that's a great idea.
I'm telling you, keep doing the thing, and we'll see you all next time. Thank you.
It's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.